I'm going to show you around the campsite a little bit. Here's my little fridge hooked up to my little Jackery power station. Here's my little fire pit, a little portable fire pit, which folds up and fits into something about the size of a laptop computer. So it's really neat. It works very well. Car, and I'll be sleeping in the car. Let me show you what we got going on here. We got the mattress, we got the pillow here, plenty of room holding all my bedding and my jammies and so forth is over there. We got my tablet right there. I'll probably watch a movie or two or a show later on. Got my electric bike. There is a fire pit here, but I prefer to use my own. And I think I've got a steak in there, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cook it on my camp stove. I thought about cooking it over the fire, but I think I'm going to cook it on my little camp stove tonight. Here's all of my larger pieces of wood. I got a couple more in the car. This is all stuff that I got from those live edge slabs that I made a coffee table out of that's now up at the cottage. Yeah, all this wood, some of this come out of my dad's old backyard up in Tennessee, and some of this is pallet wood. It burns pretty good. It does a good job. Anyway, just the campground. I didn't bring a tripod with me, so I'm having to improvise using my wood pile to prop up the camera. When I came in here at the front gate, the woman said my campground was nearby an eagle's nest, and I'm kind of looking around. Hopefully I guess it's a nesting pair. She said something about chicks about to hatch or about to. So I'm going to look around and see if I can find that thing. In the meantime, I'm enjoying my beer, enjoying really perfect weather. Hardly any breeze. Rode around a little bit on my bike. Explored the park. It's a pretty small park, but I'm still testing out some stuff here because I'm starting to think I'm going to like this camping business the older I get. Passed by a bunch of 8-liner trailers. There were about 5 or 6 of them right in a row, and I'm seriously considering still getting one of those. And that's why I'm doing this camping right now, to see how I really enjoy it. I've got some gear, like I said, that I'm testing out, make sure it works fine, and so far it has. A couple times that I've the first instance that I had of sleeping in my car was when I evacuated when Hurricane Ian was approaching, and I found a abandoned mall parking lot in, oh gosh, I can't remember what town it was, Crystal River, I think. And I slept like a baby, and then continued northward. I went up to visit my sister in Chattanooga, and continued northward, and once I got into Georgia, I felt like I needed to pull over and have a little nap, so I got in the back of the car and slept. And I slept for probably about an hour and a half, again, just like a baby. So we're going to continue that and see how we do with that. I mean, I'm not a real big guy, so sleeping in a car like this, bugs are starting to come out, so I'm going to have to get a fire going here before too long. So sleeping in a car like this is perfectly fine. However, I don't know, we'll see. I'd kind of like to have something to where I could go a little more off-grid. Something where I could actually camp and what the heck I can't remember what the term is. I'll think of it at some point. And, I'll tell you. But it's where you go to places that are not necessarily designated campsites. And there's a lot of that in, say, like Ocala National Forest, which isn't too far. It's a couple 3-hour drive from where I live here in Sarasota. This park, Oscar Scherer State Park, really nice. It's about a 25, 30-minute drive from my house, depending on the traffic. And today the traffic was just horrific. Ugh. Good Lord. Anyway, we'll get back to you. I'm going to just sit here and enjoy and look around, see if I can find that eagle nest and answer my phone. Now, I do have a canopy which comes off the side of my car, but I didn't bring it this time because, well, it's December here in Florida, which means it's the sun is the sun is at a very low angle, so I've got shade all around me, and there's 0 chance of precipitation tonight. And even if it did drizzle a little bit, I think number one, I think I have an umbrella somewhere in the car. Number two, if it really got kind of janky, I could always ride it out in the car. But don't think I'm going to need to do that tonight. It actually feels pretty low humidity right now. Enjoying a cigar, and it's serves 2 purposes. Number one, I'm enjoying it, and number two, I think it's keeping these little bugs down. I think we got some no-see-ums or something like that hanging around here. I feel like I'm getting bitten every now and then. But it's nice. Somebody's running a motor nearby. I don't know if you can hear that. I don't think it's a generator. Sounds like a car motor or a truck motor or something. Sounds like it's maybe 3 or 4 campsites down. Might have to take a little walk later or a ride on my bike and see what that is. Be back with you. Turning into an absolutely beautiful night. Let's see if we can. This isn't going to do this justice. I'm using a really low resolution anyway so that I don't run out of space, but the sky's just beautiful. Anyway, we're going to see if we can get a fire going here. I think we're going to be successful tonight right off the bat. Yeah, she's going good. Okay. We got us a genuine campfire. Sweet. We got steak cooking. I was kidding before when I said burning. Nice campfire going. Yeah. She's gonna be tasty. And then afterwards, we'll talk. I just gotta say, this was one of those times when I really hit it out of the park. This steak is supremely good. And I'm glad I cooked it on the little camp stove. Next time I'll try it over the fire. It was just the beginning. Oh, this is going to be sketchy. I can't get the darn camera to sit right the way I want it to. Oh, Well, maybe I'll just hold it. All right. Let's chat for a bit, shall we? I had some pretty interesting stuff happen to me in the past month. I'd say month. Well, actually, if we're being honest, past several months. Some of this might be a little bit graphic, so if you don't want to hear about some certain bodily functions, just tune off. But don't tell me that I shouldn't have talked about this, because I need to talk about this. Okay. Anyway, for many months ago, I noticed there was like a red or amber tinge to my urine. I thought, that's weird. I must just not be drinking enough water. And I didn't, and I don't, and I still don't. I mean, I'll be the first to admit that. I'm trying to get better at it, but bear with me. Anyway, I digress. I also started passing blood clots in my urine. And sometimes those blood clots would get damn scary. They would get to where they would actually inhibit me continuing to go to the bathroom. And which would make it very unpredictable if I was standing up like any normal man would, where anything was going to go. So I started sitting down on the toilet to go to the bathroom. Anyway, cut to, let's say October 23rd, I think it was. The day or so before that, I just was having an amazing amount of trouble urinating. And so I tried to drink more and more water, just to get this dang thing out of me, soften it up, to break it up, to whatever, because I knew it was another one of these clots. And then on, I think it was October 23rd, maybe the 24th, I can't remember, I passed a huge amount of clot. Now by huge, I think everybody knows how small the opening at the end of I'm just going to say a penis is. But it wasn't very painful. It was actually kind of a soft, it was kind of a soft, because some of the clots that I passed during this time were very hard and very, maybe borderline painful, but mostly just uncomfortable, because the sensation was something I never felt before, obviously. Anyway, this one passed. And at that point, I started to urinate kind of normally after that, but again, with a lot of red tinge or blood, associated with it. Now, let me go back and tell you a little bit more. In July, the first week of July, I flew out to California to visit my kids and my granddaughter. And on the way back, my flight from California to DFW, where I was to get my connector flight to Florida, was very late, so I missed my connecting flight. So I had to stand in line to make arrangements to either get a connecting flight or get arrangements to stay overnight at a hotel in Dallas, which is what happened. But while I'm standing in that line, while I was walking around the airport, I was getting very, very tired. very worn out very quickly. And I didn't really know what was going on. And this actually kind of started to happen, I think, probably a week or two or maybe a month beforehand, because when I play my Saturday night mass at my church job, I have to lug this pretty incredibly heavy keyboard up a couple stairs into our choir stalls. And that was getting to be very laborious, very hard to do. And so I just muddled on through, and this was the first week in July when I was flying back from Dallas to Florida, and I was just getting incredibly tired in the airport. Then later on in July, I went up to our cottage up in Michigan that my sister and I have. And there is just a gentle slope from the road where our cottage is on up to our front door. And I parked my car there, and just walking up that gentle slope and taking my belongings in, I was getting incredibly winded, just tired to the point where I had to sit down for 30 or 40 seconds, get my bearings, and then I could go on to the next task. And the stay up at my cottage was very weird this past summer, because not only was I not feeling well, but then I had to fly home for the first week in August because we had Vacation Bible School, which I lead the music for that. So I flew back home, flew through Atlanta, and something just fell behind me. What in the world? That's a little owl. That was a little owl. Oh my gosh. That was so cool. There was a little owl right on that branch over there. I thought, that's like a knot in a tree. It looks like an owl. It was a tiny little owl. Oh my God, it was so cool. I wish I could have gotten that on camera for you. Anyway, let's get back to the story. Okay, so I'm back in Sarasota, first week in August for Vacation Bible School. On the first Tuesday, my colleague and boss asked me if I was feeling okay. He said, "You don't look well. What's going on?" And I didn't think I felt all that bad, but then as that day progressed, it kind of got worse and worse. And then, I guess maybe it was Tuesday night, I said, you know what, I need to take a COVID test, because I'm feeling those symptoms that people have when they have the vid, all right? Sure enough, I tested positive. So I couldn't do the remainder of Vacation Bible School, and I had to kind of just sit there in my house, do nothing, lick my wounds, until I had to get back on a plane and fly back up to Michigan to spend another, week and a half, 2 weeks up at the cottage before I had to drive back home. But the same thing was going on. I just didn't feel right. I had no energy. I had my kayak up there, and I usually, when I have my kayak up there, I'm out on Crystal Lake every day. I think I took that kayak out 3 times the entire time I was there. That's ridiculous. And I knew it. But did I do anything about it at that point? No, of course not, because I'm a guy. I thought, this will clear itself up, so forth and so on. So let's just cut to maybe later on in August, maybe early in September. My rector and my organist choir master called me into a meeting, I thought it was going to be about the music that I do on Saturday night. But no, they were very concerned about how I looked. That they thought, there must be something wrong. And so I told them, I said, I don't know what's going on. I'll try and seek out a doctor. I tried to find a doctor, and it's very hard to find a doctor who will see you right away. Well, cut to late in October, October 23rd, I passed that huge clot, like I said earlier. And October 26th, or October 25th, I decided, okay, that's it. The next morning, I'm going to go to urgent care and see if I can figure out what's going on. I went to urgent care on the morning of the 26th, and they really couldn't do anything with me. And they said, point blank, you need to go to the emergency room. And so, stopped by the house, picked up one or two things, and I went to the emergency room at Sarasota Memorial Hospital. Did all the paperwork and admitting work and all that stuff that they take you through. Then they took me back to a private room in the emergency facility, and they drew some blood. I think that's the first thing they did. They drew some blood, and found out immediately that my hemoglobin was horrifically low, scarily low, almost deadly low. Okay, maybe it was deadly low. Should be somewhere between 11 and 14 for a man my age, my size, and it was 3.7. So that's about 1/4 to 1/3 of what it should be. So no wonder I was incredibly anemic, because I was losing all this blood through my urine. Next day, well, then they, in the space of about 4 hours while I was in the emergency room, they gave me 2 blood transfusions. And I think they might have even given me also an infusion of iron intravenously at that point. And then they got me into a room in the hospital. They admitted me to the hospital. And over the course of the evening and overnight, they gave me 2 more blood transfusions and another infusion of iron. So that took care of Wednesday and early into Thursday. I'm going to stop here, take a little bit break, and then we'll go to Thursday. Well, I guess you could say, why is it so dark all of a sudden? What's going on here? I guess I didn't so bad. Well, I guess you could say that was somewhat of a fortuitous break, because my sister gave me a phone call, and so we chatted for a while. And we talked about future camping excursions that we want to do together. Her, my brother-in-law, and me. Anyway, getting back to the story. So Thursday, which would be October 27th, day after I was admitted to the hospital, took me down to this lab and gave me a CT scan of basically the lower 2/3 of my abdomen, basically from my kidneys on down. They just wanted to make sure that everything in my urinary tract was involved. And sure enough, there was a mass inside my bladder. And again, I'm trying to cut this as short as I possibly can, because this is going to be a long video, and I apologize for that. I got visited by I don't know if she was a nurse or whether she was a physician. I think she was probably a physician's assistant from the Florida urology specialist here in Sarasota. And she came and she told me basically what they know is that it was a mass. It could be cancerous. It could be completely benign. They don't know yet. Doctor probably won't know until he actually goes in and scopes, with a scope and sees what's going on in there. So it just kind of, took my medicine and got my IVs and got my blood pressure taken like every few hours or so. But I gotta say, the care that I received at Sarasota Memorial Hospital was top notch. I couldn't have been happier with the care that I received. So anyway, my surgery was scheduled for Saturday morning, which was the 29th. So Friday was basically like a day, just, taking my medicine, just making sure I did what the doctors told me to do, and so forth and so on. So on the morning of the 29th, they wheeled me down several corridors. I swear, if you'd ever seen the movie Men in Black, where Will Smith just gets taken down an elevator like God knows how many floors down into the earth, that's kind of what it felt like when they were taking me down into the bowels of Sarasota Memorial Hospital. They took me to pre-op, which is a fairly big complex, a lot of stuff going on. A lot of surgeries obviously happen early in the morning. They prepped me. I met the anesthesiologist, and God, I hope I'm saying that right. If not, don't judge me. They got me all prepped, and they got the IV hooked up to where I would be anesthetized. Because thank God I was out black for this procedure, because where they went through to get after this thing. Anyway, so I met the doctor, and they wheeled me from pre-op into the operating room, and there was a male and female nurse or assistant, whatever goes on in operating rooms. This is the first time I've ever been in an operating room. And they were going back and forth, they're bantering back and forth, and I told them, I said, don't make me pull this car over. Well, they got a kick out of that, because they knew I was on the same page. And throughout this whole thing, I wanted to be as good a patient as I possibly could be, because I knew that I was in trouble. I knew that I was in trouble, and I wanted to make sure that at this point I did everything I could to make this to where I had the best outcome I could possibly have. So anyway, gentleman put an oxygen mask over my face and asked me how I'm doing, how I'm feeling. I said, I'm feeling okay. Are you feeling sleepy? Well, I'm hanging in there. He said, well, in about a second and a half, you're going to be gone. And sure enough, boom. And I can't even describe to you what that felt like, because it was really so instantaneous that I don't think I've ever fallen asleep that quickly in my life. I mean, it was crazy. And I don't remember dreaming during that time. All I remember was slowly coming out of it and feeling this incredible urgency to have to pee. I mean, just unbelievable urgency to have to pee. But then I realized, okay, I don't have to panic about it, because I have a catheter in me and I have a bag attached to it. So if I'm peeing, and it's not going anywhere that it's not supposed to. So they wheeled me into post-op, stayed there for, oh, I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes or so, to get out of the anesthesia, anesthesia, and never had really any ill effects from that at all. I never felt I mean, I was worried about that because my gut's not the strongest gut in the world, but I never had any problem with that whatsoever. They wheeled me back up to my room, and I think I caught up on some serious sleep. Look, I got to tend to my fire here a little bit. Let's see, which probably means I've got to. Let's use these here because they are not holding up anything. Okay, sorry about that. I'm really digging on this campfire that I've got going here. I'm enjoying myself tremendously here at Oscar Shear State Park. I recommend this place very, very highly. Anyway, wheeled me back up to my room. And I'm sure I spent the majority of the rest of that morning and early afternoon catching up on sleep. And I believe it was later that afternoon that Dr. Tingle came in and visited with me. Told me that everything went very, very well. That the growth inside me was indeed cancerous, but it was a non-aggressive type of cancer. But it's going to take some, treatment post-operative. And so that's what I'm in the midst of right now. But I was discharged on Sunday, so I went in Wednesday morning. I was discharged early Sunday afternoon, which was the 30th. And thank goodness my sister was able to be there. She was in Tampa at the time, helping her mother-in-law, who ironically also is dealing with unfortunately a very bad cancer. But she was able to come, get away and come down and help me during my discharge process, which I was so thankful for. I was just so thankful. And so I went home. I was fine. Had to empty out that bag every now and then. The urge to pee didn't usually mean that I had to pee. It just was just the urge to pee. Usually I would fill that bag when I was relaxed, when I was sleeping at night. Because there's nothing stopping it. Again, this is why I'm saying, if this is too graphic for you, just, go to another YouTube channel. Go to Casey Neistat. Go to Matt's Off-Road Recovery. Something, Go somewhere. But I'm glad you're here. I was contacted by a home health care nurse who was to stop by and check on me, and I think she came in she might have come in on Monday, maybe Tuesday, which was November 1st. Just to take my vitals and check on me, introduce herself to me. It's a lovely, lovely young woman, very professional. And I think Wednesday, so this will be a week after I was admitted to the hospital, Wednesday she removed the catheter, which was very momentarily, but very ouch. You can imagine. Anyway, but she did a great job. She was wonderful. And during her examinations of me, she was listening to my heart and my lungs and so forth. And she told me, and this has made my day. She said, "You sound like you have the heart of a young man." Now, first of all, that in of itself is great. But then, this is a very, very pretty young woman telling me that. I'm going, oh, yes. But anyway, but she was wonderful. I really liked her a lot. And then the Friday, 2 days after, on Friday, I had my follow-up appointment with Dr. Tingle at the urology office. And he was to go in and remove a stent that they had put between my bladder and my right kidney, because that mass was right by where the ureter enters my bladder. So that, again, was one of the most unpleasant, weird feelings I've ever felt in my life. It probably was the most weird feeling I've ever felt in my life. But he took it out. I'm going to show you a picture of it. Yeah, that was what was in my ureter. And it was about, I don't know how long the ureter is, but I'm sure this thing probably covered pretty much the whole darn thing. But they wanted to make sure that, my kidney wasn't involved and all that kind of thing. So anyway, since then, I have been undergoing these weekly treatments to where they put a catheter in me to give me a local. First of all, okay, that's very important. As I've talked to a friend of mine who said they've done that kind of thing and they didn't give him a local. And I'm going, how is that even legal? But, so yeah, they gave me a local. And it still is a very unpleasant feeling when that catheter goes in. But then they inject this medication, which I believe is a mild chemotherapy. And then what I have to do after that is administered. I have to go home and I have to do like 2 hours, gotta act like a rotisserie chicken. Like every 10 or 15 minutes, I gotta move from my back to my side. I gotta move from my side to my front. I gotta move from my front to my side, and so on and so forth for a couple hours. Then I can drink a lot of fluid. I can urinate and get that stuff out of me. Mitomycin is the drug. And so I've done 3 treatments of that. I have 3 more to go. And then at some point, I don't know if it's 3 months from now or 6 months from now, I can't remember. Mosquito on my finger. Dr. Tingle is going to scope me again to see what's going on, and I think I might ask him, say, can you knock me out for that, please? But we'll see. I mean, I survived when he went in after that stent. It was so fucking weird. Yes, I did bleep that out. And uncomfortable and in a way painful. In a way that I just don't ever want to feel again. But I'm going to have to feel it again. And depending on what they find, I'm trying to do these treatments to the letter. Because I want to kick the crap out of this thing. But I will say this. Every day I feel a little bit better. Every day I have a little more energy. I'm sleeping fantastically. When I was anemic, I couldn't sleep at all. I was itchy. My legs were restless. There was just all kinds of stuff going on. I had no idea why. But I've been sleeping like a rock lately. So, I'm riding my bike again. No, it's an electric bike, but I'm using pedal assist, so I'm getting some exercise. These couple of camping trips I've done lately have been fantastic. They've really, really been great. They've helped me center my mind. They've helped me do something that I've wanted to do for a long time, and I just haven't done it. And I don't know why, but I'm glad I'm doing it now. And it's going to get me into a lifestyle that I think I'm really going to enjoy. It's not going to interfere with my work. It's not going to interfere with my relationships. It's just something that I've needed to do, and I'm glad I'm doing it now. And now that I've had this health scare, and it's still a health scare. It's not over, okay? It's not over. But I'm going to do everything I can do to make it over. Because I've lost both of my parents to circumstances that, well, in my mother's case, it was beyond her control. She died very young. She died at 69. But my dad was just a stubborn, I mean, as intelligent and wonderful a man as he was just a stubborn fool where certain things were concerned. And it eventually killed him. But yeah, I mean, he lived a good life. He lived a long life. He was 89 when he passed away. Was he 89 or was he almost 89? I'd have to do the math right now, and I can't because I'm just too relaxed. Anyway, so I'm going to try and hang around a long time because I have a granddaughter, and I have my kids. And what I've learned is that if there's anything that really feels completely off and wrong and wacko, it needs to be taken care of. And healthcare these days is to the point to where two times I felt pain and unbelievable discomfort in the space of an entire week of all of this. Everything else was, I just felt like I was, in a way, being pampered. You know. Yeah, I think hospitals are never a fun place to be, but Sarasota Memorial, and my hat's off to them. They are top shelf. If you are in the Sarasota area, I'm dropping coals all over the place here. It's a very small fire pit. I got to see this. Okay, there we go. I'm not setting the I'm not setting the campground on fire. So I was super happy with the care that I got at Sarasota Memorial, and I'm very happy with the care that I'm getting at my urologist. And I hope this is a means to a good end. I'm going to do everything the doctors tell me to do. And I'll just go from there. That's my story. Thank you all. If you have stayed with me this long, I'm going to tell you that I am here at Oscar Scherer State Park at a beautiful campsite. It's very quiet. I'm hearing the crickets. I'm looking up. I think that's Jupiter. And almost right above me is the moon. And just below it is Mars. I mean, just below it is Mars. Unbelievable sky tonight. Full moon. Full moon. Temperature is perfect. The steak that I cooked tonight was perfect. My campfire is wonderful. Warm. It's a cool evening. very thankful to be here. I'm very thankful to hopefully be on the way to good health for a long, long time. Thank you for watching.